Has anyone ever been to the point in their life where everything's headed in the wrong direction and they just can't escape their problems? Well, that was me 2 years ago. My name is Charles Stone, and I want to talk to you about what changed my life. A friend of mine offered to take me surfing, and I haven't been the same since. Today I want to talk to you about the learning process of surfing and the rewards that I've reaped and that you could reap from surfing. The first thing I want to talk to you about is learning to surf. Learning to surf, the most strenuous thing that you're going to have to do is learn to paddle out. This is all technique, none of which that you're going to master for several months. One of the biggest techniques is called the duck dive. This is where you take you and your board and you dive underneath the oncoming wave to avoid being swept back to the beach. Without this technique, you can turn a 100-yard paddle into a 30-minute session before you even get out. My first time, I spent 30 minutes paddling, got washed back to the beach, and just laid there for a while. But once you do penetrate the breakers, you're going to have a feeling of satisfaction, and you'll have a little bit of time to take a breather before the next part of learning to surf, which is learning to paddle back in and stand up. Now this part is just going to take time because your body and your mind is going to have to adjust to the different sizes and the different speeds of the waves, and unfortunately you're going to spend a lot of your time being tossed and turned under the water and swallowing salt water and being washed back to the beach, where once again you're going to have to paddle back out. Once you learn how to paddle into the wave and stand up, you're going to have to learn how to maneuver and control your surfboard to keep from hitting other people and to be able to enjoy all the things that surfing has to offer. Now this is not going to be like any other thing you ever done, because the surfboard doesn't have wheels on it, doesn't have anything to hold on to, and once again it's just going to take time for your mind and your body to adjust to it. Now that we talked about the learning process of surfing, let's talk about some of the benefits of surfing. And the first one I want to point out is the physical benefits, and this comes from the overwhelming amount of energy that you're going to put into paddling out as a beginner surfer. And this isn't going to go away as you learn techniques, because then you're just going to want to paddle harder and you're going to want to catch more waves. And that's going to benefit your back and your upper body. Now once you learn how to stand up and maneuver the surfboard, you're going to move into working the core muscles and the leg muscles from all the twisting and turning you're going to do. Now that's the physical benefits. Now let's talk about the mental benefits. I can pass hours and hours of time on the water and not even one time think about work, family, money, or anything else that stresses me out. Surfing's like a drug. It's one of those drugs that just makes you forget about everything, and you don't have to regret the next day that you took it. When I get back to the beach, I feel completely refreshed. My mind's clear. Often I surf before and after work. It prepares me for the day, and it helps me wind back down after the day's over. And another benefit is the spiritual benefit. There's something about being out in Mother Nature that just helps you get back to the spiritual side. Like when you're getting ready to paddle into that wave and that bird comes down and he dips down into the wave, and as you're paddling in and stand up, you look down and you see little fishes going through the wave, and then you get down into the curl and you see the sun reflecting off of the face of the wave. It just has a way of reminding you that we're not alone here. Now that we talked about some of the benefits of surfing, I want to talk to you about some tips so you'll be successful. One of the biggest things is you want to buy your own surfboard, because you want that board to be available when you're ready to go surfing. And you want to buy your own wetsuit, because you don't want to be surfing in your buddy's wetsuit that weighs 50 pounds more than you, and you're freezing because of all the water that's coming in and out of your surfboard, out of your wetsuit. Another thing that I want to recommend is pick the right day for surfing. You don't want to go when it's 6 foot out there. You're just going to get hurt. You want to go when it's about 2 feet and the water's kind of calm. And you don't want to quit. This is a big one, because if you quit, you're not going to learn how to surf. If you don't quit, you're going to make it. And the last thing I want to recommend is don't go to the most crowded beach. You don't want to go out there where there's 30 other surfers. They're all better than you. They're all taking your waves. There's 12-year-old kids that are surfing in and out of you. You know, it'll just drive you crazy. And also the people on the beach, you don't want to be running into people that are playing in the breakers just off the beach. Now that I've talked about some of the tips to having a good surf session, let's recap what we talked about today. We talked about the learning process, which is paddling out, learning to stand up and get on the board, and learning to maneuver the board. We talked about the physical benefits, we talked about the mental benefits, we talked about the spiritual benefits, and we talked about the tips. Buy your own board and wetsuit, surf on days that are appropriate, don't surf in a crowd, and just don't quit. And if I haven't convinced you today that surfing's good for you, I want you to go down to your local beach and I want you to talk to some surfers. And you come back and you tell me how many surfers you talked to that were obese and depressed. Thank you.